decree and declare to somebody your suffering is about to end. You're about to walk into an area. Why? Because that season is behind you. You're about to walk in another season that's in front of you. Can you just holler at your neighbor and say, guess what? This suffering is about to end because my glory is about to... Okay. He says, Mother Hill, he said, but the God of all grace. A lot of people downplay grace. Grace is you having the benefit of getting something that you really don't deserve. If truth be told, I shouldn't be standing where I am. But the grace of God, that surpasses all understanding. Y'all talk to me? In other words, when I should have died from liquor poison, but the grace of God. When I should have died when the gun was pointed in my head and missed out, but the grace of God. When I should have died when I should have ran out the road, hit a tree, but ran up on the bridge, but the grace of God. The grace of God. Come on, somebody. When I hop from bed to bed to bed, but guess what? I'm still healthy. The grace of God. See, y'all, y'all looking at me crazy. There again, I'm the only one that stepped outside of the will of God. Amen. But now, one thing you got to understand, he said, but the God of all grace. Grace in the Greek root mean king, mean favor. In other words, there was favor on my life when I didn't even deserve it. Come on, somebody. If you look back over your life, you'll find out that God had favor on you when you weren't even favored to him. All right, the favor also has another meaning, says charis, which meaning unearned favor. There are some gifts that God gives you that you can't earn. If you could pay for your life, guess what? You would have paid for it. But since you can't, guess what? Every morning you get up, there's unearned favor that you always say, Lord, I thank you. But a lot of times we just get up, put on clothes, and get on about our day. We don't take 5 minutes and say, Lord, I thank you for another day. Lord, I thank you. I got aches and pains, but Lord, I thank you. I don't have everything I want, but Lord, I thank you. I'm not even living in the house I want, but Lord, I thank you for the apartment. He said, let me tell y'all something. But the grace of God, who has called us into his eternal glory. Okay. Eternal has no end. Okay, we'll be quiet. Since it says eternal glory, I may be going through, but the glory has no ending. So in other words, if I'm going through, his glory is still on me while I'm suffering what I'm suffering in. Because he has eternal glory. See, now I can tell about how much faith you got by how you go through what you're going through. Come on, somebody. Because a lot of times when you're going through, you don't come in the church, you don't say nothing, you don't lift up nothing. I dare you to get an argument before you get here. You don't let that argument dictate how you move when you get here. But I believe you can't just get 3 people out and make them up for. I don't care what happened at home. Guess what? I pick it up when I get back. But while I'm in the presence of God, I'm going to give God praise. I'm going to give him glory. Because my praise might change my circumstance. My glory might change the outcome. I don't know. I might be able to preach it to myself, but I came to give God glory. Yeah. Mother Mims, when we look at this, we see, he said under the eternal glory. And I had to go back and look at this eternal glory. When we begin to look at this word glory, we can easily say they got glory on them. But what do glory look like? Okay. I know her, so I can pick on her. My mama. Surgery done. They can't sew her up to heal her. She had to lay open and let it manifest while she laid open. In other words, she had to be healed from the inside out. See, I just said something. See, a lot of you want God to do it right now. God said, I'm trying to heal you from the inside out. So when you get healed this time, what really was devastating, it can't hurt you no more. In other words, why? Because I've been healed from the inside out. Matter of fact, when I get healed from the inside out, I don't have to say nothing. I can just show up. You will see I'm healed. I can just walk in the room. And guess what? Matter of fact, when you came, I saw you were healed, and because you did come with the same presence you was last week. Well, okay. Let me help you get out of here. Because I'm bored you long enough. He said, but has called us to Christ Jesus, by Christ Jesus. After you have suffered for a while. I paused when I read that because there's a period of suffering that we cannot forget that God, you got to go through something. Because a lot of them think when we get saved, our troubles are over, our problems are over, but the devil is a lie. When you answer, you say yes, but God said, guess what? You got some suffering to come behind that yes. If Jesus had to suffer on the cross, guess what? You got to suffer here on earth. Now, suffer in the Greek is pathos, which literally means to endure. Okay. Most times we don't want to endure nothing. Not even a toothache. Not even a headache. But the other night, I got a little something going on. It's called Arthur. Don't nobody know him. Going on my right shoulder, on my right side. I happened to be walking down the hallway, and I bumped my elbow. The Arthur had been knocking on for the past 2 weeks. And when this elbow right here. So then the pain was so excruciating, I didn't cuss. I did not cuss. And I began to favor the part that had hurt me. And so somebody offered me an 800 milligram Tylenol. They said, it's a big pill, but it'll help. Taking pills don't bother me. So I took the pill, and the pill was not the problem. It had me so relaxed, I didn't want to wake up the next day. See, I just said something right there. In other words, there's some situation that you're going to get in, that God going to give you some peace in, that you don't want to start the next day. Why? Because of the peace. I told you, start out, the peace of God surpasses all understanding. Sometimes God will say, I'm going to give you some medicine for your dilemma. You don't even know why you got to take it. But God said, no, if I let you go, if I let you keep on running, you're going to run into a big wall down the line. He said, I got to give you an 800 milligram Tylenol. So you just rest in what you're hurting in. Rest in what you're going through. Rest in what's bothering you. In other words, he said, when you rest this time, when you wake up in the morning, you will not feel what you felt the night before. He says, which means I'm going to let you endure through the darkness. So when the daylight comes, what affected you last night won't even bother you this morning. You ought to high-five your neighbor and say, that's the season I'm about to go in. What I'm going through right now is not going to affect me next week. What I'm going through right now is not going to affect me in March, April, May, or June. Why? Because I decree and declare I'm putting a period in February. I'm dealing with it right now, but by the time February ends, I'm done with that problem. And I'm on to my next. Tell somebody I got next. Let me get on up out of here. He says, Sister Ada, after you suffer for a while, make you perfect. Okay. Some of us, I put it like that, I ain't gonna put it on you. Some of us think we already perfect. Just because you've been doing something for a while, you think you perfected that thing. Okay. I used to climb poles for a living. Okay. Because I was lineman. A lineman is you climb poles, you work on the line that's on the pole. Since that profession appealed to me, I put the work in to get good at that profession I was in. So in other words, if you want to beat me, you have to be on top of your game to beat me. Because since I loved what I did, I put the work in to perfect what I did. Come on, somebody. Only thing I'm trying to get somebody to understand is when you love something, you're going to put your all in it. Why? Because you're not going to let anybody come and take what you love. Come on, somebody. I was just trying to tell some real folks. In other words, now, I how long I've been retired? 2, 3 years, however many it is. But I was talking to somebody the other day, and I was reminded again how good I was. Because the conversation came up, it wouldn't be happening if Charles was here. So the only thing I'm trying to get you to understand is, when you have made impact upon a place, you can leave a place, but guess what? Your mark is going to be still on it. When was the last time you told your situation, I made an impact on this? So when I leave next time, you'll know, guess what? Somebody was praying there. Somebody was fasting there. Somebody was interceding there. Why? Because I took it to heart and I got good at what I did. Come on, somebody. Woo, let me hurry up and get on out of here. So now, this word perfect, in the Greek is teleos, which means wholeness, fulfillment, and maturity. Okay. Okay. If God gave you everything you want now, you won't know what to do with it. Because you're immature. Sometimes he has to tell you no. Until you grow up. And you can be able to receive. Go ahead. What he's about to put in your table. Now, my little grandbaby over there, he can't read. Right now, he got a spirit of discernment in him, but he can't read King James right now. So if I put King James in his hand right now, it's just a dead weight. Come on, somebody. Why? Because he has not matured to that point just yet. God is trying to let somebody know that when you mature, I got things I'm going to place in your hand that the devil can't talk to. In other words, you got business. You got multiple business with your name on it. If you got degrees with your name on it. But he said, if I give it to you now, you'll mess up what I'm about to give you. Ooh. When was the last time God told you no? Can I be honest with you? Yesterday. Yeah. I had asked him for something, then the result was astounding no. Why? Because I didn't get what I asked for. If I had got it, you would have saw me today, but I've been big-headed. Amen. Why? Because I got what God had for me. In other words, I'm not putting it out the window. If it wasn't yesterday, it might be today, it might be tomorrow. But in other words, I'm in expectation that God is about to move on my behalf. Why? Because I've suffered for a... Talk to me if you can. Somebody holler, I got next. Yeah, but you wonder why I keep on telling you to say that. Because the more you say it, you're going to get it down in your spirit for long. And the time when you say it, it's going to cause a quickening in you. You won't be able to sit down. You won't be able to hold your ride. Because there's something going to start moving on the inside of you. They're saying, since I got next, I got to start acting like I got next. Well, since he said, perfect is teleos, which means wholeness, fulfillment, and maturity. He says, now, perfect and, hold on. He said, make you perfect and established. Okay. Some of us need some stability in our lives. Whichever way the wind blows, we gone. The wind blows over here, you're here. Wind blows over there, you're there. In other words, you're so contrary, just like the wind. Ooh, ouch. Contrary in relationship, contrary in faith, contrary in friendship. If they call your name today, you're on their side. They call their mother, you're on the... So there's come a time you ought to stand in the middle. I'm not on your side. I'm not on your side. I'm standing smack dab in the middle. Why? Because in the middle, there's favor. In the middle, come on, I'm just trying to tell you something. Because all of us got some friends that don't like the other one. Talk to me. So when we redeem, they talking about them. Then we on this side, they talking about them. You can't tell me they're not wondering, are you talking about them whatever side that you on? So there come a time you got to stand in the middle of the road. I might be your friend, but that's y'all business. I might be your friend, but that's y'all problem. The only thing I'm trying to get somebody to understand is, if you're a friend, be a friend indeed. If they wrong, tell them they're wrong. Yeah, but if they don't want you to tell them that's not a friend. As a matter of fact, if you don't tell them they're wrong, you're not a friend. You know, that's one thing I have to understand here. There's a lot of fake friendships that you my friend as long as I got what you want. Come on, somebody. But as soon as I go against what you feel like, can I keep it real? As long as I had a cooler full of beer, I had friends all the time. But let the cooler get empty. Did nobody show up? Let the wasn't no bars to tell. Wasn't nobody even at the house. And the only thing I'm trying to get somebody to understand is the reason some folks are hanging around by what you have on the inside of you. But Sister McCormick, let me get on out of here. He says he'll establish you, which is sterizo, which means to stable you. Okay. In football, there's something called a three-point stand. Okay. Three-point stand is you have 3 points on the ground at all times. Okay. My profession was climbing pole. They called it three-point contact. I got to have 3 points on the pole at all times. In other words, I had to have 2 feet in hand on the pole at all times. So in other words, they gave me stability. Most times when you get so high, the higher you're up, the more what you own is rocking. If I didn't have the stability, by the time I've gotten 80 feet up, I'm on my way down. Okay. So in other words, can I just be clear? Okay. Your body knows when it's outside of your element. Testing, my check. Some people can't stand up in the chair and get a nosebleed. But here it is, I've climbed 80 feet up in the air. That the people on the ground look like they about this tall. Then the whole while I'm up there, on the ground it looked like it's steel. But the whole while it's up there, you're swaying back and forth. Now, when I had got to that 40-foot mark, I was getting outside of my element. Come on, somebody. In other words, I was getting outside of what I was used to. So now my conscious mind started kicking in. Say, no, you ran up to 40 feet, but this time you got to have 3-point contact. In other words, because you're suddenly come down from the level that you had got over. I'm trying to let somebody know here, the higher you go, the more you need to hold on. Why? Because God said you're in the area now that you're about to start rocking in the wilderness and you're subject to come down the wall. Come on, somebody. He says to stable you. Then we're going to get out of here. Let me just yell, come on. Tell you even let pop it. You can even let Deuce play if you want to. He says not only establish you, strengthen you. Settle you. Settle you says to make firm. Okay. Then we're going to get on up out of here. He said, I'm trying to get you to understand. You suffered some things for a while, but God is saying, I was building you for what you're about to go into. In other words, I'm looking at a lot of buildings in the sanctuary now. And in other words, God say, I got to fashion you in a way so you can carry the weight that I prayed for you to carry. Can I just help somebody here? I don't know how many you know how to build a house, but to build a house you got to first have a thing called a blueprint. Before you get a blueprint, you have somebody go out and survey the land. Come on here, somebody. When you go around and survey the land, you got to make sure the land can carry what's about to be built up on it. See, you think I'm talking about building a house. No, I'm talking about building you. God said, can I survey you? Come on here, somebody. Can I survey you so you can get handle what's about to place on your shoulder? And the first day now, he said, let me show you the blueprints. Come here, Jeremiah 29. Before I knew the plans that I had for you. Y'all get to do what's the rest of it? Before I know the plans that I have for you. To what? Tom saying. But at the end it says, for an expected end. Now, what I'm trying to get somebody to say, just as well as some sunshine, there's some rain going to come. Because over in Ecclesiastes, say for everything, there's a time in a season. There's a time of suffering. There's a time of joy. There's a time of laughter. There's a time to cry. You know what he said? Now, after you suffer for a while, and I've surveyed the ground, now let me start setting up the foundation. Why? Because you're about to be, I got something I'm about to pour on you. Guess what? You didn't think you could handle. But just because you suffered for a while. Now, Somebody gonna say, how many jobs did he have? Okay. We used to be our houses too. Mm-hmm. And then after the surveyor went out and plotted out the land, the first thing they used to put up was boundaries. And if you don't understand the foundation, where the most weight was going to carry, it had to be dug down the deepest. Come on, somebody. In other words, the foundation was only you have dug out the dirt. Come on here, somebody. That you got to put place concrete in the place where dirt once was. Because if the more weight get on dirt, it has a tendency to shift. But when you put concrete on it, come on, somebody. God said, I'm trying to put some concrete in your life that you've been shifting in the past, but you won't shift no more. Now watch it. Now we used to go out. They had this machine, a laser machine. You had one looking through the machine. Then you had another with a little stick. They say, put a mark right there. Then they'll mark it out. Go to the other corner. Do the same thing. Go to the other corner. Do the same thing. And then they'll come back and run strings around. And the streams around was the height that you had to place everything on. All dirt is not the same. All grounds are not the same. There are some grounds that are lower than others. Come on, somebody. So another place, when the stream was up here, there came a time that you had to level the ground up. In other words, God said, I got to bring in some dirt. Because this side is lower than that side. And this side was too high. There are some things you got to take away from you. God is trying to get somebody to understand. There are some things, guess what, I got to take from you. Why? Because there's too much shifting got to be done. There's sometimes, guess what, the man that you want that was not God, he said, I got to take it from you. That woman that you went out and got, that was not, I got to take it from you. That relationship that you thought was doing good, because I got to take it from you. Why? Because I'm fashioning you for what I'm about to put on you. Now, then we're going to get out of here. We had to get shovels now. Modern day, they got equipment called backhoes. You got one man sitting in it, operating, screw down, put dirt over. But old school, you had to use shovels. Okay. Now, a lot of us don't like manual labor. We want it easy all the time. But God says there's some things that you got to work to get. So in other words, we used to, there's a certain thing called undisturbed soil. Undisturbed soil is down to 24 inches, 2 feet. Regular houses just built on 18 inches. But the higher the building, the deeper the foundation needs to go. See, I'm just preaching to somebody, but you can't see. Now, so for somebody, you wonder why you had to go through so much hell. God said, no, because what I'm about to do is a high rise, a sky rise that I'm about to build on you. So in other words, I got to build your foundation deep so you can hold what I'm about to put on your shoulder. So I'm talking to somebody. God has assigned you to break generational curses. That's why you had to go through some stuff. Now I'm assigning somebody, guess what, to break your whole family out. That's why I had to let you suffer. He said, after you suffer for a while, he shall make you what? Perfect. Establish. Strengthen. There's a certain thing that goes down into what they call footings. Mm-hmm. It's called iron. It's really called rebar, which ain't nothing but some steel they place in and tie it together. Okay. You have those that come inspect foundations. All depends on how hard they want to be. The steel that you've placed in, they will walk on it. Yep. Right. Okay. If it gave any by their weight, you would have to pull it up and do it again. See, I try to go. In other words, he's saying, now let me inspect your work. to see if your work ready for what you're about to place upon it. And God sent me here as the inspector to inspect somebody's work. See, some of you can't swallow this. Why? Because I'm not telling you you're going to get a house, you're going to get a car. God said every now and then you got to suffer for a little while. Why? Because I'm trying to perfect the foundation. Because what I'm about to build on you, guess what? The world hasn't seen, your eyes have not seen, nor ear have heard. Now eat into the hearts of man what the Lord has in store for him that love him and are called according to his purpose. Y'all don't know what I'm doing. Now, after the reborn, the inspector comes and he okay that the foundation has enough stability to it. We called for a truck. Mm-hmm. And the truck trucks start bringing this thing called concrete. It's in a liquid form almost. But when it comes, you got to have somebody there working it. Because concrete gets hard. Y'all looking at me crazy, but I see a lot of concrete that sit in the church and get hard. Because it was not put in the work. Come on here, somebody. So no one said, so wasn't nobody working it. It just set up and got hard. Now when it got hard, you can't prove it. You can't move it. You can't spread it out. Why? Because it just sit there and got hard. Now it's gone. It is no use to nobody but to be taken out as trash. Tell your neighbor, guess what? This is the last day I'll let you sit next to me and do not even say nothing. This is the last time I let you come in the house of God and not give him praise. Why? Because I don't need no stiff concrete on my people. Matter of fact, I'm going to take assignment over my own people. Now, baby, you're about to walk into your next. You're about to walk into your next season. Why? Because I'm about to put in the work. Try to bring concrete. Okay. You have your labor. A lot of them had big arms, big shoulders. Okay. Because when you begin to pull mud, you begin to work muscles. That you normally don't. You can almost look at a person and tell their profession. Okay. Those that wash dishes a lot of time. You know you don't have a callus in your hand. In other words, yeah, I got to see it. I'm going to see it. You call my mind, I'm going to see it. I hate shaking a man's hand that's softer than my wife's. I got a problem there. I don't care if you do click on buttons, but there come a time that your hands ought to get on something because that's going to cause a callus every now and then. The only thing the callus represents is, I got some hands, but guess what? These hands, that means I've done some work with these hands. When was the last time you had a spiritual callus in your hand that you did some work in your hand? Why? Because you laid hands on somebody. You prayed for somebody. Now that's a callus. Every time you step out of yourself and get in and start working on somebody else, God say, no, I'm building you up. Why? Because I'm about to put something on you. You don't know what you're about to walk into. I just came to tell 3 people I'll make number 4. That God said, now I'm about to build a house upon you now. That everything that's connected to you be able to have. Thy eyes have not seen, nor ears have heard. Well, now, I tell you I'm done. Let me close it up so I won't lie to you. The concrete come. The trucks back up. And most times they were not able to back up to what was built. There's some extensions that had to be added on to make up the distance because they can't get to you. Some of you are sitting next to extensions. The God said, I got to add to them. So when I begin to pour out in them, they're going to pour out in you. And when they begin to pour out in you, I got some men already. I got some service already. Guess what? They got concrete tools. Okay, keep it clean. Got concrete tools that can catch the concrete and pull it to another level. Reach for your neighbor and say, I'm the tool that God is going to use to pull you to another level. I know you've been stuck here for a while, but God said, I'm the next tool that God is going to use to pull you to another level. Fire your neighbor and say, maybe I can't let you stay here no longer. Why? Because you're here too long. And I don't want you to get hard on me while you're here because we got somewhere else we got to to be. But watch this now. Then we're going to get on out of here. Let it go. He all right. Just let him walk. Because when you look at it, you have the concrete men here. They begin to pour the mud from one place to the other. Then as they pulling, they have this thing called a straight edge that they have to put on it. And why they putting it on it? They're making sure that everything around is getting into the cracks it's supposed to be. Everything around is getting into places it's supposed to be. Put your hand on your neighbor's shoulder and say, neighbor, I'm your straight edge. I'm helping you to get in the place where I want you to be. There's a certain thing called a honeycomb. A honeycomb in a foundation is a weak place in a foundation. Tell your neighbor, in this season, ain't no honeycombs. In my house, ain't no honeycombs. On my pew, ain't no honeycombs. In my ministry, ain't no honeycombs. In my family, I'm putting in the work. I dare you to find somebody. Say, neighbor, you on this end, and I get on that end. We're going to shake it up. Find your neighbor and say, neighbor, just shake up the foundation. Shake up the foundation. Shake up the foundation. Tell somebody that's not the end of the story. The way it goes after the concrete has been spread, after two men got on straight edges and began to smooth it out, they had another tool they call a trowel. It's called a float. It's called a concrete float. It wasn't nothing but a piece of aluminum that was real wide and smooth. They had one man that had the float in his hand. He'll start way out there and begin to walk it back to him. And whatever bubbles, there'll be no more bubbles. And whatever low spots, there'll be no more low spots. I find somebody on another low and say, neighbor, I'm pulling some things out of you. I'm pulling some deep holes out of you. I'm pulling some blemishes out of you. I dare you to go prophesy to somebody. God sent me to pull you out of some things. Y'all stay still down. Find you somebody so God using me to pull you out of some things. God's using me to pull you out of some circumstances. God's using me to pull you out of some mess. God's using me to pull you out of some heartbeat. Find your neighbor and say, neighbor, there's another step. There's another step that we gotta go. If there's a man that don't show up till after everybody is gone, there's a machine that got a muscle. There's a machine that got a blade on it. And on that machine, you start it up. It's called a concrete finisher. And what he did, he wait till the concrete is strong enough to walk on, strong enough to step on. He'll start the machine up, and he was pulling the concrete out. He began to make it shine. He'll begin to make it slick. When was the last time the finisher got in your life? He stepped out on something wasn't finished. Stepped out on something wasn't hard. He said, let me finish what I started. Tell your neighbor, I'm next in line for my breakthrough. I'm next in line for my healing. I'm next in line for overcoming everything that the devil thought he did. I'm getting my joy back. I'm getting my peace back. I'm getting my happiness back. I'm taking my home back. I need 3 people, and I'll make number 4. Say, Lord, do it. Do it again. I heard in the sanctuary. The atmosphere was, Lord, do it again. Lexus, you didn't know it, but God said, I'm about to do it again. Sister Ida, you didn't know it, but God said, I'm about to do it again. Sister No Wonder, you didn't know it, but God said, I'm about to do it again. Annie, you didn't know it, but God said, I'm about to do it again. Candy, you didn't know it, but God said, I'm about to do it again. Trey, you didn't know it, but God said, I'm about to do it again. Charles, you didn't know it, but God said, I'm about to do it again. Erica, you didn't know it, but God said, I'm about to do it again. Omara, you didn't know it, but God said, I'm about to do it again. Touch your neighbor and say, neighbor, he didn't call your name, but I stand in agreement. I decree and declare over your life that the Lord is about to do it again. Just because I'm an intercessor. Just because I'm standing in the gap. Just because I'm bold enough to ask God for something you don't need to know. Lord, if it's a business, give it to him. Lord, if it's a marriage, give it to him. Lord, if it's a job, give it to him. Somebody, anybody, won't you scream? Give God praise. Give God glory. I don't know what God... Go tell 3 people he's about to do it because you've been suffering long enough. You suffered for a while. You cried long enough. You went with God long enough. God said, I'm about to do what couldn't be done. Can't be done for you. Be now, high phone, you. Ask me what that means. And the only thing that means is God is about to turn your situation around. Turn your joy around. Turn your peace around. Turn your healing around. Go tell somebody. Go tell somebody. He's turning. He's turning. He's turning for your glory. He's turning for your glamour. He's turning. He's turning. He's turning. Go tell somebody. I need somebody. I gave you your prophetic license to go decree in this house to somebody in the sanctuary. God is about to turn your situation around. God is about to turn your problem around. God is about to turn your business around. God is about... Ask me why. Ask me why. I've never seen the righteous forsaken, nor a seed begging bread. Pour it out for you and for your children, children. For your children, children, children. Look over your shoulder. Talk to your destiny. My children are blessed. My grandchildren blessed. My great-grandchildren blessed. Suffered for a while. Since you suffered in pain, you suffered in tears. But God said, you're about to go in a season. The joy, unspeakable joy, gonna be your thing. You see every morning. Find you somebody. Say, neighbor, I'm ready for the joy. I'm ready for the peace. I'm ready for the healing. For it. I'm ready for it. Be all right, I'm ready for it. Be ready for it. I'm ready for my new season. I'm ready for brand new mercies. foundation has been conditioned. The foundation has been fortified. The hand foundation has been stabilized. Look at your neighbor. Rock them, pull them, say, neighbor, I'm giving you strength. I'm giving you strength. I'm giving you strength. Every time I rock, you're getting stronger. Every time I rock, you get lighter. Every time I rock, I came to decree and declare with somebody, your suffering days are behind you. Your suffering is behind you. I need anybody, somebody scream like you already know. It's behind me. It's behind me. Both days are behind me. Lonely days are behind me. Sick days are behind me. Speak over your life. Speak over your life. Why? The Bible said, Paul said, at the end of the benediction, he said, to God be the glory. Amen. That means it is so. Go to 3 people. Somebody go to 3 people. You tell them it is so. It is so. You don't know what God's using you for. But just go to them. Say it is so. somebody, today is the end of your suffering. What today is? What today's date? Tonight. Yesterday was what? The 8th. You didn't know why this strange feeling came over you yesterday. And I don't think God is saying, I'm about to start a new beginning in you. By the time you get to the house of worship tomorrow, you already be in another place. Because I'm speaking directly to you. I'm about to end a thing, and then number 9 is the beginning of thing. I put a period on your suffering. Because you're about to walk in joy. Unspeakable joy. Everything that the devil thought he took from you, you're about to get it back. Yeah, life been life. But God be God. I knew today was going to be different. We all knew it because when I can't get no sleep, God is saying, no, I'm doing something. And I said to say this. Most time we want to see what manifests in a setting like this. It's not the manifestation of a setting like this. It's the manifestation of what you do when you walk out of a setting like this. It's what you do.